Hi, I'm Kierin Barnard from MECAD Systems, and in this MECAD Minute I'm going to show you how to use interference detection. Interference detection is very useful when trying to create production errors or when you're going to go and use simulation. Simulation will create stress concentrations or will not create mesh at all when there is interference. Often we see interference as well causing issues within sheet metal components. So from here I'm going to actually go and say evaluate with my model open and click interference detection. Just on the side note, if you cannot find interference detection, you could simply go in your search bar, make sure that your commands is set, and from there you can say show. It will then move your mouse and actually gives you an arrow to that location. From here what I'm going to then do is select interference. My first selection is my model or components. For this example I'll be selecting all the components, however you can go and specify components that you'd like to check. From here we can also go and exclude components or specific components that are not required. In this specific model it's not necessary, however when starting to work with larger models it's advised that you exclude your specific components such as toolbox components and various other things that you know do not need to be checked. From here, by simply just clicking calculate, you'll see that it gives me an indication there are two interferences. If I expand the interference 1, you'll see that it tells me there's an interference between the holder and there's an interference between the round swivel cap. By simply selecting on it, you'll see it shows it to me over here in red. I can also right click and zoom to selection. In this example it doesn't zoom in drastically, however on larger models it's definitely a very useful tool. So what I can see from here is that my one specific component is overlapping. Okay, this allows me to also go and create design changes without having to go through it. So by simply opening this component I can see that this size is wrong and this is an old version of the component, and our latest changes means that that must be 5. I can then from there just exit, allow it to rebuild my component, and from there you'll see now I can see visually that there isn't any interference. However, from clicking into interference detection, clicking calculate, you'll see now there are no interferences. Some other options under interferences is as treat coincidence as interference, show ignored interferences. So what we can go and do is when we actually have an interference we can right click and say ignore interference, and we can also treat subassemblies as components. So if you don't want to have specific little components checked, you'll just check the subassembly as components. You can also select include multi-body part interferences, so that's if you're in a multi-body designing environment and there's any interference in between, it will check that. And from there we can also look at non-interfering components. We can also look at just the display types for non-interfering components. Ours is currently set as use current, and the current is shaded with edges under here. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more to come.